had my Tesla for over 28,000 miles, and there are 8 big regrets and things I wish I knew before I placed my order. I'm gonna go over these critical regrets in this video. Point number 1, when it comes to what you're getting and how much you're paying for it, I really didn't know the long-term cost of owning what I have, a Model 3, versus what my brother has, a Model Y. You really don't know how much does it cost to maintain a 3 versus a Y. Is there really any big difference? Because you're looking at that number on the website and you're thinking, well, is it really worth it? Especially nowadays with a huge price decrease and a few subsequent price increases, here's what I would tell you. So the cost comparison of a 3 versus a Y is something I regret not knowing more about. And how could I? I didn't know things like the maintenance cost until I purchased it. Well, I'm gonna pass on my experience to you. My brother's Model Y or my Model 3 has next to zero maintenance cost, aside from normal things, wear and tear, like your tires and so on. Which one should I buy? More space in the Model Y, or maybe I like the design of the Model 3 a little better? I want to let you know, don't make my mistake of simply not knowing. Now you know that price on the website, your yearly maintenance cost is not going to fluctuate far from that number. Speaking of cost of ownership, something I had no idea, I regret not knowing this, I really do, because you look at that number on the website and you might think, well, how much am I going to save on a monthly basis of my charging versus gas? This is a big regret I wish I knew. How much did I save on a yearly basis? Well, Tesla will look at my regional gas prices. I'm in Pennsylvania, so based on the gas prices, I saved $2,100. How much does it cost to charge my Tesla on a monthly basis? Gonna be around $70 to $85 depending on your driving habits. So based on those numbers, you're gonna save around $175 in monthly charging versus gas. Something I didn't know, I regretted not knowing it, because again, you're looking at that monthly payment that you're gonna sign up for and you're thinking, well, how much is gonna come off of that, if you will, with my charging savings? And now you know how much you're gonna spend on monthly and yearly cost of charging. So let's move on to point number 3, and this has everything to do, a crucial mistake which I hate to this day, and that is protection. This mistake concretely messed up my Tesla and I hate it to this day. But before we get into that, consider tapping that subscribe button. I'm trying to do this full time to bring you even more videos. And if you are thinking about a Tesla, consider clicking on those links in the description below. It supports the channel whether you buy those products or other products off of those links. Let's get into this big regrets, point number 3. Paint protection film. It cost around $500 to $800. What am I talking about? Well, if you've never owned a car like an EV and a Tesla, there is no grill. And I have never owned an expensive car before, so I really didn't pay much attention to this wear and tear. Well, when there's no grill, all of the insects, debris, pebbles, over time may chip the front of your car. They cover it with paint protection film. Basically, you can think of it as a clear sticker. You're not going to be able to see it. It forms to the car and they kind of squeegee it onto the car, and this will repel all of those scratches and dings. I really wish, I really do, that I set aside money to do this, because think about the long-term years and years that you're gonna have this vehicle. It's an investment that you might wanna consider getting. Point number 4 is another mistake I wish I knew that caused my Tesla damage. And here's what it is. Not getting accessories or getting cheap accessories. While you might think, well, I don't need accessories, how bad can it be? Well, once you get into that daily wear and tear inside of your vehicle, you're gonna wish you did, and here's why. So if you have a family, if you're expecting a family, if you load things in the back seat, maybe through the trunk even, well, I actually scratched the back of my car seats because of my car seat. I have one that rotates and I rotated it, and basically there's not a lot of space back there, and I scratched the back of the plastic seats, something that is unrepairable. I mean, I'm sure you can take it somewhere, but you might as well get some seat protectors, some floor mats, because these accidental mistakes just happen on a daily basis when you're rushing around trying to get the kiddo in the car seat. So check out those accessories linked down below. I saved you all the time and they're all the best accessories. So here's a big one. Point number 5, I wish I knew. If you haven't been following Tesla, I've been making videos for over a year and a half. And what I'm talking about is I wish I knew when the big refreshes happened. So what does that mean, a refresh? Well, basically a Tesla, unlike many vehicles, they're very unique. I want you to listen to this. Every few years, whether it's the 3 or the Y, there are some big design and feature changes. And I wish I knew, well, when do these happen? Because imagine buying a car maybe next month, and then the month after is the big release where now the Model 3 or Model Y comes with many new features, a brand new design and new technology, and you just missed it by a month. I'm gonna let you know when those happen, and I'll give you a hint. Project Highland is supposed to be a brand new Model 3. So if you are thinking about a Model 3, there's so many factors involved. The change in price, the EV tax credit. Well, a potential refresh is coming soon, so make sure to subscribe to get more guidelines on that. Point number 6, how much does it cost to get insurance for a Tesla? Well, here's the answer. Now, I paid $42,000 way back in July of 2021. Now, Model 3 prices are coming down a bit, but to cover the full value, if I were to get into an accident, I pay around $150. Now, of course, shop around these rates, and also if you're in a qualifying state, if you're unaware of this, did you know that Tesla actually offers Tesla insurance, which I've seen many folks say that is much less than what I have, State Farm or whatever agency you have. So if you do qualify, it might be something to also look into. Point number 7, this one is also a big one. This is a new point. A lot of these I've never talked about in other videos. Oh boy, this one is painful, and it cost me $18,000. Trade-in values. Remember last year when trade-in values for used vehicles were going crazy? Well, painfully, let me show you this picture. I was featured in a Tesla Ratty article about used Tesla prices, and back in the summer of 2022, they were going crazy. And long story short, I was being offered $18,000 more than what I owed on my Model 3, and now the prices look like this. Tens of thousands of dollars less. And yeah, I should have taken the trade-in value when I had it. It's a ridiculous trade-in value, but who knew that Tesla was going to lower prices so drastically? And if I traded in my vehicle, I would have nothing to drive. I'd basically have to borrow another friend or probably my brother's vehicle. But long story short, look at those trade-in values. If you're in no rush, they can change drastically. A big regret that I have is not knowing how much Tesla prices affect those trade-in values. I know it sounds like simple economics, but to change that much was pretty disappointing. Point number 8, this one is a big one if you live in a colder climate, but this is also good to know if you are going on road trips and you will be in that cold weather. Listen to this. Cold weather performance. Now, a lot of people talk about this one whenever it gets cold in the winter about your battery life. I'm just gonna be honest with you. When it's really cold, like 10 degrees or very cold, your battery is gonna feel it and you're gonna get less range. Now that's probably not surprising, but how much less range? Well, your battery is going to be affected maybe 10 to 30% depending on how freezing it is. I know you've probably seen articles and examples all over the internet of Tesla owners doing experiments, running their batteries in the cold, trying to charge and having issues with it. I will tell you, I have never, ever had problems charging in the cold. I can tell you, I've had my charger in and it's been snowing, my car's been covered. That's not the issue. It's the range. Now, in my opinion, you're still gonna have plenty of range. That's not the issue, but you're gonna have to plan appropriately. So just make sure before you leave, again, if you do live in a cold climate, that you have enough range factoring in that cold weather. So this one, another winter issue, if you will, a regret that I didn't know when it comes to winter preparation and what to expect, especially if you're rushing out the door trying to get to work, is your door handles freezing. So this one's frustrating and frankly kind of annoying. Your door handles may freeze because a Tesla opens very differently differently than a normal vehicle. So you can't really pull on the handle like a normal vehicle. If it freezes, Tesla recommends that you pound around the handle to open up the vehicle. This is supposedly meant to break the ice, and again, it's more annoying than anything. I wouldn't trade the modern design to having to do this maybe once or twice a year, but it is annoying. Yes, I know there's a defrost option that'll warm the inside of your vehicle, but it really doesn't do a whole lot to solve the handle problem. So it's something that I wish I knew before I ordered my Tesla. Still, I would do it all over again, and that's not a big problem for me. If you did learn something in these 8 regrets that I wish I knew, the only way that I know that you really enjoyed it is to drop a like, consider those accessories in the links in the description, and subscribing so I can do this full time. Again, this is Matt from Frunk to Trunk. We will see you in the next video.